My name is Martha Hennessy. I'm here at the Danbury, Connecticut Federal Prison. I was given 10 months sentence due to my participation in the Kings Bay Plowshares action, protesting the Trident nuclear weapons system down in southern Georgia. I am a prisoner of conscience, but I really hate to apply that just to myself. I feel like all the women here are that as well. They're being held hostage to this horrific capitalist system. We do know that about a year ago, a usable nuclear weapon was sent out of there. We don't know if it went to Asia or if it went to the Middle East. It's a result of the nuclear posture review under the Trump administration, where they decided that they wanted to make nuclear weapons more usable. So this particular warhead that went out is of a smaller kiloton. So basically the Trident nuclear submarine weapons system has, overkill firepower to destroy the planet several times over. We don't quite understand what kind of mind thinks that is a useful or a productive thing to do. I do want to say that I have great hopes for the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons. It is pretty clear what the United States' intentions are with this nuclear arsenal. I believe that ICANN recently threw out a figure of $100,000 a minute will be spent to so-called upgrade our nuclear weapons arsenal. So you can see that the states and the corporate interests have no intentions whatsoever to work towards abiding by any kind of nuclear abolition treaties. But I am very hopeful that economic pressures, which are already bearing down on us here in the United States in a very big way with the COVID pandemic, but hopefully the global community can really put some economic pressures on the nuclear weapons states. And I do have a lot of faith in the umbrella states, particularly Korea and Japan, to really start non-cooperation in the best interest of its citizens and in the desires of its citizens, to really put pressure on their governments to look at this treaty and ratify it and abide by it. We are dealing with immense pressures and powers from Lockheed Martin. The weapons dealers are just, making a killing with these military contracts, and that's what keeps this whole thing going, as perverse as it is. The spending of the money when there are just extremely crying human needs, with huge unemployment rates happening in the country right now, never mind the economic devastation that's been ongoing in our Latin American countries, our neighbors to the south. All of this ties in with what we're seeing with this fascist insurrection happening in Washington, D.C. and being threatened around the nation in all of the capitals. It's very hard to know what's up and what's down and who's doing what. The truth and the reality is being distorted in ways that we can only begin to comprehend. And I just would also end with speaking a little bit about, here in prison, I'm doing a lot of reading. I did bring the book, The Doomsday Machine, onto the naval base at Kings Bay, and Dan Ellsberg writes very clearly about how the United States has had a long-time stance of threatening other countries around the globe with the first nuclear strike. And this is against all international law and any of the treaties. We've been lied to about this whole question of détente, of deterrence, and we've always had this first strike ability and intention. We threatened Korea, we threatened Vietnam, and we believe the people who are making these threats believe that this is a legitimate and effective and necessary stance that the United States can take. Those are the words of Dan Ellsberg. And every president since Truman has taken this stance, been willing to go along with it. And of course the definition of state terrorism is one of threatening mass murder of innocent civilians, women, children, families, elderly, not just males of combatant age. Everyone gets wiped out with a nuclear strike. And so I do believe that no nation on Earth has the right to possess these capacities, the global nuclear destruction capabilities. And getting behind the TPNW really is a beautiful illustration of how the vast majority of us don't believe that anyone has the right to destroy the planet or to destroy whole nations or whole cities. So I have great faith that this will come to fruition in ways that we can't even anticipate right now. Things do look so grim and chaotic and insane, but there is a huge faction of people working very hard to end this nuclear threat, and I certainly come to appreciate the action that I took and the time that I'm now spending sitting here in federal prison, because I stand by my beliefs, I stand by my morals of saying some of us need to stand up and give a very profound no to this drift, and I consider it a grace and a gift. I'm very appreciative to have been able to do what I was able to do in community, and I'm here now reaping the threats of the system, the court system, the judicial system, the judges, the prosecutors. It's pretty horrific hearing stories about how that system is used against the women, the mothers here, in an incredibly unjust manner. But I want to thank everyone who has been putting out these efforts all of these years. And my heart is with you, and God bless you, and thank you so much. You know, June of '55 is when they had the first arrest with the air raid drill. Dorothy does an incredible job of weaving together both the political and the personal. And there she is protesting these air raid drills and talking about who is in prison. And yes, it's the poor who are in prison. And this whole arrangement that we have of the military, prison, congressional, corporate, industrial complex, it's all interrelated, and it's so good that we have, witnesses in our history who really connected the dots and understood that sitting here in prison with these women is very much in keeping with this nonviolent struggle against this wastage of money and the violence of our culture. And we have only about 60 seconds left. Today, January 22nd, I congratulate everyone who has worked so hard on this effort. The TPNW will become international law as of today, and let's celebrate and let's give thanks to each other for bringing this to the point that it's at now. We're very grateful, and congratulations everyone on your hard work.